Good afternoon. Welcome to another series of Getting There. My name is Clinton Normore. I'm the Associate Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion at AT-Still University, otherwise known as ATSU. And we are here at the 2017 SNMA National Conference with some of our fantastic students getting to know more about their experiences in getting there. At ATSU, diversity is more than you. We believe that we want people to be the light of hope they see in the world. You represent that kind of person. So Theo, I want to thank you for, first of all, being at our university, and then secondly, for taking time out of the busy conference and your busy schedule to be here, because your environment is really tough. Theo is in our Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine in Kirksville, Missouri, also known as KCOM. And I want to have you just take a little bit of time to tell the audience who you are, what year you're in, and how you come to Kirksville, Missouri, from Nevada.
From Nevada,
no
yep.
place.
Yep. Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me. It's a tremendous honor to be able to speak to everyone. My name is Theo Zemanuel. That's my full name. I do go by Theo. I am a third-year medical student at ATSU Kirksville campus, College of Osteopathic Medicine. My undergraduate, my alumni is University of Nevada, Reno, alma mater. Go Wolfpack. So my journey began really around my junior year. I was an athletic training intern at the University of Nevada. I was working with the football team back then, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be involved in sports and athletics in one way or another, but I just wasn't sure. And I had the pleasure of working with a lot of athletic trainers, physical therapists, and some of the team doctors there. So I started to do some shadowing, and I interviewed a lot of people there, and tried to get some wisdom about each different profession. And I had the pleasure of working with one of the team doctors there, who is a DO. He was actually completing his sports medicine fellowship there. So I had the pleasure of talking to him and getting some insight about osteopathic medicine. Then I actually went out and I did some research on my own. There's a medical school attached to the University of Nevada, so I went to the library there and I checked out a few books about osteopathic medicine and read up on it, and just kind of going through the entire book, time and time again, I felt that there was a direct correlation between the principles and the tenets of osteopathic medicine and my personal values.
Right.
And I saw a lot of similarities, so it felt like it was a no-brainer to decide to pursue a career in osteopathic medicine, and that's why I'm here today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you did a lot of research, so
Yes,
you were
yes.
weighing osteopath or allopathic medicine.
Yes.
And many of our audience are really unfamiliar with osteopathic because they've only been, if they have been interacting with anyone, it's mostly an MD, the allopathic medicine approach.
Exactly.
Talk to the audience a little bit about those differences.
Yeah. Going through my teenage years, for the most part, I had a primary care physician that was an MD. Around when I was 17, 18 years old, I started having some low back problems. So I went to go see my primary care physician, and at the time I wasn't really looking forward to taking medication or anything. I wanted to see if there was any alternative therapeutic modalities that I could try, and he didn't really offer any of it. He told me that, it's a chronic condition, and you just have to kind of take some anti-inflammatories and just call it a day. And I'm like, I want to see if there are other options out there. So I did some research, and that's how, again, I started to look up alternative medicine. And that was way before my college days. So even back when I was in high school, I already had that sense of that desire to look for alternative ways for healing and health and wellness. So I just didn't know it at the time. It all kind of came together, and it was almost like, it might be cliche, but destiny.
Yeah,
almost.
right.
And that's really my personal experience. Now that being said, I don't want to make it seem like all MDs have that viewpoint. But for me personally, the more research I did, about osteopathic medicine, it felt like it was natural to me, and it felt like I was meant to do or to try to practice the principles of osteopathic medicine and try to implement those principles into everyday healthcare and medical care.
And you're I know, a fantastic student, and so you had opportunity to go anywhere, other places, put it that way. So, but you chose Kirksville, AT University, KCOM in Kirksville, Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Small, rural, urban environment.
Yep.
Predominantly white, very few people who look like you and I at the time, and one other undergraduate institution which has a similar makeup to our institution. So you were going to stand out in that environment.
Yes.
Why?
Well, first and foremost, I applied to that school thinking, this is the founding school of osteopathic medicine. I definitely want to apply and see if I make the cut. So initially going into it, I didn't really do a lot of research. But once I was granted an interview, I started to do a little bit more research on it, and the more things I read up on the school, and it sounded very interesting. And really, what sold me beyond
That's okay.
What sold me beyond everything else was the interview day. From the minute I landed in Kirksville, Missouri, to when I set foot on campus, everyone there was just so welcoming. The interview process was very laid back. I felt like they were trying to get a good idea of who I was beyond the numbers, beyond the GPA and the MCAT. It was more about them trying to figure out if I had the personality of someone who can, become a doctor one day and actually take care of patients. And that being said, they weren't looking for something extravagant. They were looking for someone who could relate to people. They were looking for someone who could tell a story about themselves and be able to, have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And I felt like those were very easy requirements.
Life happens, much like in all our world, live TV, it happens that way as well. So the loud noise is just live TV, and that's okay. What makes it our existence here so authentic is the fact that we can have these kind of experiences, and we can talk about real world experiences.
Exactly.
Back to Kirksville. Kirksville is an environment, like I said before, small, rural, urban. You talked about your experiences there. You are a fantastic student, and you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you.
To help create a culture and environment that is conducive to having a majority of students experience what we talk about in ATSU University is cultural proficiency. And that is a way of being which enables one to respond appropriately in all settings, as you know. We want our professionals, our students, and our doctors to be culturally proficient. And you are helping do that with a lot of things you do on campus. I spoke to BJ a little bit earlier and talked about SNMA, all the activities that you guys helped put together. He commended all of his executive board for that work. But one thing that young people need to know is that life is what you make of it, and so too is medical school. It's tough. It's a difficult experience, especially in KCOM. You have didactic training 2 years, and then you match for your rotations, which you get that clinic setting. But you have tests all along the way, competency tests to ensure that you're going to be a successful doctor. What would you tell a young person out there who may or may not know how difficult the education process is beyond the undergraduate experience? What do they need to do to prepare them in order to be successful?
Okay. Well, the number one thing I would tell anyone who is interested in medicine and wants to go on to medical school is to understand that you will be challenged. A lot of times people go in and they have this misconception that they're going to do the exact same thing that they did in undergrad, because a lot of the times, people that are accepted
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The people that are accepted into medical school do really well in undergrad, and they excel, and they have a certain strategy about studying and whatnot, and how to tackle different subjects.
Right.
Going into medical school, it's a whole different animal, and a lot of times people there's a certain learning curve.
Right.
And the number one advice would be to accept that challenge and understand that that challenge is very natural. It happens to everyone, and to be open-minded when it comes to different studying strategies, test-taking strategies. Everyone learns how to excel in medical school. There is no God-given talent or natural skills when it comes to excelling in medicine and in medical school. So it's an acquired skill. It's an acquired art. Embrace it. Look forward to learning those different skills. And if I can make it, so can you.
Awesome, and that is a great way to end on. If he can make it, so can you. Anything worth having is worth working for. As these young people whom you've seen today, like Theo, have done, they've proven that you can someday be here, and we hope you are. We look forward to seeing you on our campus. Please visit our website to learn more about us. It's www.atsu.edu/diversity. Again, thank you for tuning in. We look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully one day seeing you on campus. Theo, thank you so much.